Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Paradise Pump. And today we've got my buddy over here, John.
What's going
He's
on?
been on the show before. He's been interviewed, but this time he's my co-host. So what's going on?
Pressure's on.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, he works out here at Iron Hawaiian. He's been a member for years, and he does a lot of the social media stuff that we have. A lot of those videos that you guys are watching, reels for Iron Hawaiian Fitness. So that's this guy right here.
What's
And of
going on,
course,
guys?
we got Jed. Good old Jed. Anyway, so what's up, man? What's been going on with you? How's
Not
your
much.
training and stuff?
Training, I've been just training 3 to 4 times a week now. My work that I do is very labor intensive. So like now that I'm completely natural,
Mm.
I'm not even
Oh,
ta-
you're 100%.
I'm not even taking testosterone. I'm taking an over-the-counter
Really?
testosterone
How do you
booster.
feel?
When I first got my blood work done, my testosterone levels were at 137. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt terrible. Felt like kind of like sad and sluggish and not really motivated to train. But I started taking this
Mm.
natural test booster, actually from Designer Body M Test, and yeah, it's like 6 pills a day. It's all natural herbs like ashwagandha and stuff like that.
Is it
And
like their brand or what brand is it?
um, I'm not too sure what brand it is actually. That's a good question. It's not their brand though. But yeah, I feel better. I haven't gotten blood work done, but I feel more
Okay.
energized. I feel like yeah, I'm back to somewhat of like
How long has that been? You've been on that? Okay.
man, maybe 3 months now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
So
what? How come you stopped like TRT, like, or just
well,
tests in general?
my girlfriend wants to try and have a kid. So I
Oh,
mean,
I see.
obviously if you're taking testosterone, it's like one of those like just like
Yeah.
immediate like yeah, kind of well,
Yeah.
for the most part. I heard some stories about people like being able to have kids like
Yep.
on like pretty heavy cycles, but like I mean I've never
That's
yeah,
rare.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm one of those guys, man. So like yeah, coming off everything completely to try and focus on other aspects of life and then
Mm.
some TRT later on for sure. Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and kind of keeping it mellow, but all
Yeah,
those
buddy.
like heavy duty contest cycles I think are kind of out the window for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did you lose a lot of size?
I did, man. I was like 235 and I shrank down to right now I'm at 210.
Oh
Mm.
Yeah.
wow.
So 25 pounds. I mean, yeah. So I'm not training as much though. Like that could be part of it too. My food
Yeah.
and diet is kind of up and down. I mean, I try to eat, keep in mind my protein, carbs, healthy fats, all that while I'm buying things and eating food. But yeah, it's not like a rigid, structured plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my working out is like if I have a hard day at work, like that's my workout for the day, and I come home and I stretch. I've been stretching a lot more, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I feel better as far as like my body and like my sleep apnea went away now that I'm lighter.
Yep,
Yeah,
that usually
when I
happens.
was heavier, I noticed like, dude, I was waking myself up snoring. My
That was
girlfriend
bad, huh?
hated it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and now she's like, you don't even snore, and I'm like, wow, crazy.
So
So
those 25 pounds,
yeah,
dude.
25
Yeah.
pounds kind of cured my sleep apnea. Knock on wood.
Feels good.
Yeah, it does.
Well, do you feel better now when you wake up? Because you sleep better now, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel way more rested, even off like 5 or 6 hours, more so than I did before.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting better sleep.
Yeah.
I don't even wake up throughout the night sometimes, maybe once to pee, if even that
Yeah.
though. Yeah, so I'm sleeping
Oh,
like
yeah.
6 hours straight now, which I never did before. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
That's, well, yeah. I mean, even me, when I lost weight, I noticed that, and sometimes I still snore sometimes, but yeah, like that was a huge difference. Just feeling better in the morning, waking up.
yeah,
Like I could actually get good night's sleep,
for
even if
sure.
it's like 5 hours of sleep, you sleep good 5 hours,
Yeah,
5, 6 hours.
definitely. That's why any bodybuilder out there, man, like, like if they're big, they have traps, they're really
Yeah.
muscular, their girlfriends probably hate sleeping next to them. So,
Guaranteed, guaranteed, or they do
yeah,
this all night.
yeah, they're getting
They get the
elbowed.
bump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You ever try doing breathing exercises or breath work before you go to bed?
I've never tried that, but that would definitely be
There's
something
tons
that
of
I'd be
YouTube
into.
videos that'll guide you through it. I suggest everybody at least go to one or two workshops to get the idea of how to position because there's a way to position your head and stuff where you can take it and let out the most air.
Yeah.
And I always notice I sleep really good after it. So all this past week I've been doing 10 to 20 minutes of it, just trying out different videos on YouTube. And I've woken up like ready to go as soon as I wake up.
Wow.
And I get because the benefits of it. It balances the pH levels and gets the CO2 oxygen ratios correct.
Okay.
But you'll notice your skin start tingling. Sometimes you'll get I can't remember what it's called, like where your hands just lock up and all
Mm.
this
Yeah.
stuff. And it's just body regulating everything. But afterwards, you feel really good.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
Mm.
awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying that, man. Because I used to do a lot of yoga before I started bodybuilding, I was doing yoga like 4 to 5 times a week. And in all
Yeah.
honesty, that's like the best I ever felt in life is
Yeah,
when I
this
was just
stuff's
like
good for you.
doing
Yeah.
a lot of
You were
yoga.
doing 4 times?
Yeah, I
Damn.
wouldn't even lift weights. I was just breakdancing and doing yoga.
Wow.
And like 4 to 5 times a week, yeah, I'd hit a yoga class and like nothing crazy, just like an ashtanga, like a mellow, well, not ashtanga, that's the more intense one. What is it called? Vinyasa.
Vinya,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
so the vinyasa classes, I would go
So
to
the
those.
easy.
Yeah, kind of flow through it, hold the
Yeah,
postures a little longer.
that's cool.
My body felt so good. When I was
Hmm.
weight training, it was just like I felt like you look like you're in amazing shape and you
Hmm.
look aesthetic, but then you're always sore. And then, like I do a kind of laborious job. So people
Yeah.
look at you like, oh, this guy's got muscle. He's the strong guy. You carry all the heavy stuff. And it's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
always. Yeah.
I'm sore from the gym, dude. Like I'm strong in the gym, but like weak as fuck out here,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. Yeah. We talked about that before. Having muscles, people think you're gonna be the guy to do all the work, but
Yeah.
then you're just like,
You're like,
no.
no, dude, my
Like,
biceps hurt. My back hurts. Like, yeah, can't do it, man.
so true. Yeah, man. So they got the show coming up. They got Stingray coming up, right?
Stingray.
Four
Yeah.
Yeah.
weeks from yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
So
me, I feel like that should be the biggest show every year. I know the Sean Ray is like, a big production, but I mean, the local bodybuilding shows that have been around forever, people who have been supporting the local
mm,
bodybuilding community, I feel like those are the shows that we should try as local people to make bigger. And maybe they would have some help, maybe marketing it out in California somehow. Maybe he could make some connections with somebody. I don't know how that would work, but yeah, I feel like the Stingray is a good show. It's like and when I actually worked at the Stingray this past time with Mel,
yeah.
kind of backstage and not organizing things, but like helping organize things
Yeah.
backstage with the competitors and stuff and calling them up. When I talked to Ray, like I remember him specifically saying, like he was like, like I really do this for the competitors. It's not about the money. It's not about us. It's all about the competitors.
Oh, nice.
And I want to give them the best experience that they could possibly have. Because some people this is their first show, whether it's their 10th show. He just was more focused on making it good for the competitors and like little things too. Like when people came out and held their trophy up, they had those little sparkler shooters in the back.
Yeah, that was kind
Little
of
things like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like
that was
it's not
fun.
necessary, but he did it to like make it a
Uh,
little more memorable for the
right.
person's picture. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like yeah, shows like that, the Stingray coming up, everybody should be supporting
You
that.
want so you're saying you feel like the Stingray should be the biggest show, bigger than the Sean Ray? Is
What's the
that what you're
first one of the
saying?
year? I think it should
Yeah,
be big.
I think like the Stingray, yeah, and it's been around. It's nostalgic here in Hawaii. It's like
Well,
it's pretty nostalgic. It's like almost as much as like the Paradise Cup would be. I feel. Like
yeah, I mean
yeah,
it's kind of it's the last one that's standing still,
yeah,
right?
right,
Like that's been around for a
Oh
while.
yeah,
for
because all the
sure.
original ones are.
All the other ones are gone. I
Yeah,
mean, you have the Ikaiko, which came a little bit after
yeah,
Stingray, but it's a smaller show.
for sure.
Um, well, I think a lot of people save like they plan to do Sean Ray. They're like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
save myself for Sean Ray.
the November show. Yeah, I'm gonna train
Yeah,
all
like I
year
think
and
so. I
prep.
think that's what a lot
Yeah,
of people shoot for, right?
for sure. And plus, like, I mean, there's judges coming down from the mainland. I'm pretty
And
sure he doesn't.
there's
Yeah,
pro
pro
show in it.
division. Yeah, like what was it?
So,
Wellness this time around or bikini? Bikini.
well, I think they're doing classic physique too.
Yeah. Oh
Again,
wow.
yeah, classic bodybuilding
Yeah,
in
I
it.
remember Logan Franklin won that like 2 years in a row,
Yeah,
and he just
yeah,
came in second at the Arnold. So
yeah. I
yeah,
guess he looked really good this time
yeah,
around.
he looked really good,
Even
man.
good, even better. So yeah, who
Yeah.
knows?
But yeah, I
But
feel the Stingray though, man. I mean, even though there's no pro division,
yeah,
I mean, it's just a local nostalgic
it's still
show.
the local
Yeah,
show.
where the
Yeah.
guy who's throwing it really cares about you as a competitor, and I feel
Hmm.
like that's something everybody should train for at least a couple times if they're competing consistently here. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that'd be a good idea.
yeah,
I mean, you think well, it's kind of funny because it's kind of I mean, you're kind of saying, oh, like support local, but do you think that's even a thing, dude? I don't know.
yeah.
I do people support local or you just go for whatever they think is best,
Yeah.
whatever they like,
'Cause I mean,
right?
in all honesty, they both qualify you for national shows.
Right.
And
Right.
I mean, if you're obviously the Sean Ray is, the biggest show of the year, everybody kind of like holds off for that, like you said. I mean, I did too. I did 7 Sean Rays. So it's like,
Yeah, there
I
you
only
go.
did 2 Stingrays.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, I did 7 Sean
Oh, I
Rays.
didn't know you did 7. Wow.
Yeah, so I did 7. The first one I did at was 6 or 7 he's had so far.
Convention Center.
I did
Convention
everyone.
Center was the first one,
No, the
yeah.
first one was the hotel,
Oh, wait.
modern hotel.
Oh yeah, the modern.
No.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that
that
was
was
the
the
first.
first Sean
I
Ray.
remember.
That
Yes.
was
We were
my
all
first,
out in that
that was my first
restaurant.
show.
The
Yeah.
modern, that was the
Yes, it's
crazy.
not
He
even called the
was
modern
like
anymore.
asking us to help.
And we were
Like, "Hey,
getting like,
can you watch the door? Can you like it was not really
I
organized,
think
and we were out
bikini
there doing stuff for him.
bikini that show went on stage at like 1 a.m. I think.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then backstage, like the hotel was so pissed because we were getting spray tan on all the walls
Yeah.
and
Oh
shit
my God.
all over the
It was
floor. Yeah, it
crazy.
was not the best plan, but I think
He
he's
did that.
definitely stepped it up every year. It's gotten better and better to what it is now, So
Yeah, because he
yeah,
did modern.
The
He
shell
did
sucked.
convention center.
Mhm.
He did modern again, right? Later, I remember
I
he did
don't
it
think it.
again.
No,
No, he didn't.
No,
he
he
did the
One time,
Waikiki shell that one
wait. He only
year.
did it one time in the
one time. That
modern.
was the
Yeah.
first one,
Okay, so
first and
modern
last.
ones. He did the Shell. He did the convention center. Is that the three places?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
never did it at
convention
the
center.
Hilton.
No, he
No.
never did.
The
I think,
Paradise. No, the Paradise Cup was at the Hilton that
but he
one
does the
year.
weigh-ins at the Sheraton for the Chandray.
Yeah. Wait,
I think, right?
he
No,
never did it at
Hyatt.
the
That was the
Hilton.
Hyatt.
No, he
Okay,
did it at the Hilton
that's
one
right. It is
year.
at
One
the
year he
Hyatt.
did do weigh-ins at
At the
Hilton. Yeah.
Hilton. No, the actual show was at the Hilton one year.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
I
it
remember.
was. I remember
Yeah,
that. Yes,
the
it
one
was.
down by the Ely Kai, the big one.
Yes,
Yes,
he did
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
dude. So he's moved locations a lot.
That was the last time I used my
Yeah,
last coach. I remember. That's why. That was
he
2019, I
did.
believe.
Yes,
2019 was
I
at the
remember
Hilton.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I remember
So
that was
that's
like right
crazy.
Oh
before COVID.
yeah. Yeah.
COVID came right
Uh
after
huh.
that. Yeah.
That's right. He did it one year over
And
there.
that's why the next year, 2020, all the shows got canceled in the
Right.
beginning of the year. And
And
I
then he
think
did. Then he did the Shell,
And
right?
he canceled it that year, but then the following year, COVID was still going
Shell.
on. So then he did the shell because we
Yes.
could have open air things.
Uh
Remember, it was
huh.
one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Open
Yeah.
air.
But man, everybody was sweating on stage, and you walk on the
Burning
stage,
their
Oh,
feet.
your feet were
that's right.
burning.
People were
Yeah, the sun
burning.
was
You
just like
step off
hitting
that
that.
carpet, you
Yeah,
burn your
I was
foot.
like, you got
it's
to wear
insane.
slippers or
All the
something.
plastic physique guys, because they got to actually pose, so their
Yeah.
shit was like just
They were
dripping.
just dying
Yeah, it
out
was
there.
crazy. That was the one Chavez Higa, I think, came in like second or something in the
Yeah.
pro, right?
Oh yeah, in the pro division. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
Yeah, that one was a
crazy.
no offense, that one was a shit show.
yeah. That was shitty. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but that was the only way he could have had it.
But,
Yeah,
it was cool
Yeah.
that he
yeah,
went through that extent
yeah,
to that extent to have it.
yeah,
But it's just like one of those things where it looked good on paper, but when you
yeah,
go in, you're like, this is
I gotta
crazy.
say,
yeah,
at night, the night show, it looked cool.
Yeah, it
Like
did.
yeah, for
the
sure.
lighting and the way it was done.
Yeah,
That could have been if they had just condensed it all to a night
the
show.
evening at
I
least.
think it would have been good. Like
Yeah,
it could have
like
been okay.
early afternoon and
Yep.
evening, and then like have a rest
Yep.
for 2 hours, and then everybody stay
Yeah.
there, just night show. Yeah,
I think that would have been
way better.
better. But yeah, obviously, it was a one-off thing. So
Yeah, for sure. I think that was the only show Tyler Mannion probably had because he had one of those big ass beach hats. Like that was probably the only show he's ever had to wear one of those for.
probably
Yeah.
probably
like-
ever because you're sitting outside. The
Yeah.
audience was outside in the sun.
Yeah.
So
That was the one where like Kenny was getting all mad. Yeah.
oh no, yeah, that was there was yes, there was
Yeah.
some stuff for that show.
That was funny.
Interesting stuff that happened at that
Yeah.
show.
Kenny,
Oh
man,
man.
I was like, man, the judges probably hate him down here. But like after that show, because
Well, yeah, because Kenny did the show and he did classic physique and he did
and
men's physique.
Yeah. He did
And
both.
then they let him he won the overall in the men's physique,
Yeah.
but then he won his class in classic, but he didn't win the overall.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I didn't think that was right because I
Yeah.
mean the guy who won overall that guy was small, dude.
Yeah, he was smaller. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, not just. I mean, he
Definitely.
looked. He looked
He had some
good.
like quads. For
He had a
sure.
good structure, and
abs,
stuff, but he was
yeah.
small. He was
Yeah.
so small,
Yeah, his muscle maturity.
and no,
for
I
sure.
didn't have that, and it wasn't
Yeah.
really hard. And
For
then,
sure.
I mean, he ran on stage last minute, because he wasn't ready and stuff when
Yeah.
he was doing the pose down.
For sure.
I was like, no, and then they gave it to him, and I know why they gave it
Yeah.
because they wanted to kind of spread it out, right? They didn't want to
Yeah,
have
for
two
sure.
overalls to one guy.
Yeah.
But my thoughts are like, well, I don't know. If the guy didn't deserve to win the overall, then he probably
Yeah,
shouldn't have
it's-
won the overall. Sorry.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like
That's my
that's just
thing
how
too.
it goes, dude.
Yeah, it's like not everybody gets a trophy. You
yeah,
know what I
nobody
mean?
gets trophy.
Yeah,
If you didn't
you-
deserve to win the overall, you didn't
Yeah.
deserve to win the overall. I
Exactly.
mean, to
Yeah.
me, I personally thought he didn't deserve it, but obviously,
Yeah, I thought Kenny won. That was when I first
the
met
head
Kenny
judge
too.
did.
Yeah.
The judge thought, oh, he's the winner, whatever.
Yeah.
But I personally was like, dude, you gotta have. It's still bodybuilding. You need to
Yeah,
have some muscle, dude.
for sure.
You can't just be like this small guy
Like have
and you have a
cuts.
little bit of shape
Yeah,
and you have cuts.
it's like you're cut because you're skinny.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but yeah, it's like
you got abs because you're skinny.
yeah,
not 'cause you
exactly.
didn't
Right,
train
right.
enough.
It's like, man, you can't. That's not the look. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
for
just
sure.
not that ain't the look, dude. Like this is classic, physique bodybuilding. Like it's still bodybuilding, man. Like come on.
Yeah, no, totally.
So I had a problem with that, but whatever. I wasn't competing, so
Yep.
but I mean, Yeah. So I mean, it's all good though, And then Kenny ended up
Yeah.
going beyond that anyway and doing
Yeah,
the
for
other
sure.
stuff.
He's
And
on to bigger and better things now.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's sticking with the men's physique now, which is
Yeah.
cool.
I
So
think that's his like his
yeah.
category, man, because
Well,
like
and I'm big on that though. I am big
yeah.
on like when you're at a certain level, like to just stay with one division.
Yeah.
I didn't because to me, I thought, I personally didn't think Kenny should have done two divisions anyway.
Yeah.
Should just
It's a
do
little
one.
overkill. Yeah.
But then since he did it and he was on stage, I was like, well, I still think you deserve to win.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Even though I don't really agree that you should do two divisions when
Yeah.
you're at a higher level. You should
Yeah.
just qualify in your division, then go to the nationals
Yeah.
in that division.
And I feel like Kenny's structure, it's a very classic, like not like pro classic like
Yeah,
nowadays, but
right.
like to the Arnold Schwarzenegger type of flow of the body. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like a little more like I don't want to say natural, but not so like insane looking like how the classic physique guys
Yeah,
are now. Like I mean,
not
everybody had
so
this.
jacked. Yeah.
There was this recent comparison on Instagram. It was who's better, Lee Priest or Keon?
Oh
And
yeah,
they had a side by side of them posing, from different
yeah.
shows, and Keon just smashed him. Like
Yeah.
Lee Priest. I mean,
Can't. Well.
if you look at Keon's structure, like
Mhm.
when they're both hitting a front double bicep, Lee Priest just goes up and down. Like his lats don't flare out as hard. His waist is a little thicker. Like Keon just has so much more shape to him. Like
Mm.
the taper is just like boom, where Lee Priest when he's kind of like this. Maybe it was the way he was posing too.
Lee
Maybe,
can come in harder though.
but I feel like Keon's structure just it's more like developed. I
That's what
mean,
caused him to win in
yeah,
the first
It
place, right?
flows
When he
yeah,
better,
beat
huh?
yeah, it
Florida.
flows better.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Lee's a freak, man.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
is.
shit.
And I think, like, honestly, when
Yeah.
you're that short, Keon's pretty short too.
Oh,
Like, I mean,
Keon's
Yeah,
short
yeah.
too. Yeah,
he's a tiny dude. It's crazy because
he
these
was
guys
short.
look like they're like 6 foot on stage. You stand next
No,
to
he
him, you're
came
like,
here.
oh,
He came here and trained, and I got pictures of him.
yeah,
I gotta post those actually. But yeah, he was. I don't know. I thought he was like 5'4", 5'5". I don't know,
yeah. And then when
5'5"
you pack
maybe.
so much muscle onto such a small frame,
Hmm.
like if your waist isn't small, it just looks kind of. I mean, it looks insane.
Yeah.
But it's not as aesthetic looking, I feel, as like somebody who's maybe a tiny bit taller, maybe
Hmm.
not necessarily 6 foot, but like 5'9" or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Because what's his name? Sean Clarita.
Sean
Sean, Clarita.
Clarita.
Dude, that guy's
Yeah,
thick.
yeah,
Like,
and I
and
think
he's
like
even shorter than
yeah,
Keon.
yeah,
Like, oh, I don't. I think that guy's like 5'3" or something.
yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
small. Yeah, because when he
But
trains at the
he's
gym,
thick, dude.
yeah, super thick. And that's the thing is when you're that small, it's kind of like what was that other guy's name from the Netherlands? Black dude, dreadlocks, gold grill, William Bonac.
Yeah, Bonac.
So like that guy, like I mean, them two, like those types of people, they're really compact and short, and like
Yeah.
there's basically nowhere more for any more muscle to
Yeah,
go, and
right.
it'll just start looking weird. Like I think like I
It
don't know.
just comes
So
out. Yeah, well, yeah,
yeah,
it's just there's limited space on the frame. So I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. But I
so
guess that's that
they
division, right?
fill it
Look
out.
freaky. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're short, so
yeah.
just pack it on, dude. It's
That should
crazy.
be a category, like when they're judging for like open bodybuilding,
Mm.
like freakiness factor.
Freaky. Yeah, well, that's supposed to be
Freaky
the most
factor.
muscular, right?
Yeah.
Most muscular guy.
Is that
Like,
what it is?
well, yeah, they used to have that category. They used to give
Yeah.
out the award, like in the Arnold and stuff. I don't know if they still do. Most muscular,
They should do like most freaky. Not that
or
sounds
just,
weird, right?
or
Most
just,
freaky. Then maybe not
or
most
just
freaky.
freaky, right?
Freakiest, or they even
Yeah,
that sounds weird, but but you know how everybody wants to be a freak.
yeah, like the freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But then some
freak,
people who don't
freak
follow
of the show. I
bodybuilding,
know.
they're gonna like
But
their
they'll be
minds
like,
are gonna
"What?
go.
What are you calling him a freak for?
Yeah, what is this? Like
That's not politically correct.
yeah,
Don't call him a
yeah,
freak."
think
I
he's like a
know.
stripper or something.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. Well, there's different terms. Yeah,
Yeah.
stripper or just a
Freaky,
freak, meaning like he's just kind of like
insane looking.
weird and crazy.
Yeah.
He's not a freak. Yeah, yeah, I know he's a freak.
Yeah.
They don't realize, most people don't realize that bodybuilders, a lot of them aspire to be called a freak.
Yeah.
They aspire for that.
That's
They're
crazy,
like, yes,
right?
call
Yeah.
me a freak. I love it.
Adam's like that. Like, I mean, he's
Yeah.
like, man, I just want to look like a freak. And I'm
Right.
just like,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah. So
There
I
you
mean,
go.
even
Yeah.
Adam like trains here.
They literally aspire.
He's aspiring to be a freak.
That's
Yeah,
right.
for
You're
sure.
aspiring to be a freak. Yeah. Dudes be aspiring to be freaks. There's a lot of girls out there that are already freaks,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
they've already hit the
Totally.
level
Yeah.
of freak.
Freakiness factor 100.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's crazy. And I think men's physique, the thing about it is we were saying, like, you see guys in men's physique that are jacked, right? And they have that new fit model for a bikini.
Yeah.
And we had talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago, but on the show. But it's like what's gonna be? Are they gonna do something like that for the men's physique guys? Because the men's physique guys are,
Pretty jacked
I mean,
now.
they're like classic to me. They have classic
Yeah.
physique bodies just with shorts on. I mean,
Yeah, for
really.
sure.
So I'm like, are they gonna be? They're gonna open a new category. You know what I
You
mean?
know,
Like
I hope they
another
don't
one.
because I mean, like you said, it is bodybuilding, and I get for girls, because like yeah, I mean, even the bikini competitors nowadays, sometimes when they're really dialed in,
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean? It's a
they're
little kind of,
hard,
yeah, they're
man.
super hard, and it's almost like it looks like they starve themselves.
Oh,
Like it was like,
probably.
like part of their diet was, okay, this is a starvation day or something,
Yeah.
like their ribs are popping. And so to me, like, yeah, that fit model kind of girls who don't want to take it there and extremely go like
Mm.
insane with like, I don't know, dieting and do it. Cause I mean, some of those girls, it didn't even look like they dieted that hard in those shows that I seen recently.
Hmm.
It's like you cannot diet too hard and do that
Yeah.
division. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can still
Right.
kind of
Right.
live a normal life and like go out with your
Yeah.
friends and have like one cheat meal a weekend or
Right.
something,
And still, yeah,
and have a drink and
and
still
be
and maybe
reasonable.
even win,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
so that's the thing
Depending
about
on what show.
yeah,
Yeah.
that division.
Yeah.
It's like that division is for people who don't want to train as hard, don't want to diet as hard,
Right.
and just want to kind of like, live a healthy lifestyle for the most part, but like
Hmm.
maybe not like commit 16 weeks to like getting
Yeah.
crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So men's physique,
Interesting.
I hope there's nothing that comes below that because yeah, like it is still bodybuilding, but now the pro division, NPC shows, I mean, there's such a wide variety of competitors from like really skinny, like, it's their first show to the guy
Mm.
who's pretty much going to turn pro when he goes to nationals. You're looking at him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, in the pro division, it's like you got to have like a crazy midsection. You got to be big. You got to have legs.
Oh
It's,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
for amateur competitors, I feel like you could just be skinny and still do men's physique. You're not going to win, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and that's what guys do, right?
yeah,
There's a lot of those guys
yeah, for sure.
that first timers, they just want to get up there and do something, and they've been working out for like a year or two. And
Yeah.
they look pretty good.
Or like they followed the culture online and they're kind of like,
Yeah.
wow, I want to do this one day. And they're just like, fuck it.
They
And,
got abs.
yeah,
Like
they,
you
they,
said,
they got
hey, they
abs.
got abs. Like
They're
you
like,
got
yeah,
abs. So
for
you
sure.
can step up there. You got abs. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You might not win, but you got some abs. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
But that dude, Ollie at the Arnold's, I don't know if you saw the Arnold's men's physique
No, I didn't see
winner.
that one.
Ollie, I don't even know what his last name is. Ollie
Oh,
something.
I know who you're talking about.
Like
Yeah, I know who you're
his
talking about.
midsection, like that was like as soon as I saw him, I didn't see anybody else in the show, but I saw him walk
Mm,
out on Instagram the day of the show because somebody
yeah,
posted something.
you knew it was
And I
over.
knew it was over. I was like, this guy won. I have never seen something like that,
Hmm.
like in my life in
Yeah,
men's physique, as far as like just and like the way he's structured. I mean, you can train your abs and your chest and your shoulders and your biceps and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But like your muscle insertions and the way the muscles are shaped, like that's
yeah,
something that God gives you. You
that's
know what I
right.
mean? So
Yeah,
this guy has been given by God the perfect aesthetic physique, I feel, for men's physique. His back, I feel, could be a little better. But man, how he looks, like that's to me the standard now.
that's the look.
That's the look. I
Yeah.
think he might beat Ryan Terry even in the
Oh wow,
Olympia. Yeah,
wow.
that's my prediction. I think Ali is going to be the new
This is
champion.
gonna be the guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where's that guy from?
I think originally Afghanistan, but now he
Oh,
lives somewhere in Europe or somewhere,
another Middle
Sweden.
Eastern.
Yeah, fully. So
These
Middle
Middle
Eastern.
Eastern, there's some good
Yeah,
physiques,
there
man. Some
is.
of
It's
them, they
trippy,
got
man.
crazy genetics. Yeah.
Yeah, they all got like narrow waists and like
Yeah, like
yeah.
it's interesting.
I think
Like
maybe the drugs are better out there or something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think about it though, like all the years of there could have been so many more good Middle
yeah,
Easterns, but it's very religious, right? So
yeah, for sure.
how many of them just never had the opportunity to even know, to work out or see,
Yeah,
like, like it's crazy
for sure.
because there's probably a lot of them that could have been phenomenal, but
Yeah.
just didn't
Or
know,
like you're doing a show and then Ramadan hits and you got to fast for
Right,
a month. You're like, oh
right.
fuck.
Well, I mean, because I had seen before in magazines or stuff, even, back in the day, like say 20 years ago, even or whatever. I mean, you would see shows in like Egypt and things like that,
Yeah,
and they would show photos, and you're like, oh, there's a lot of good guys,
yeah,
a lot of good guys, but they would never. That's it. Like they would never get out of there, like
yeah,
they would do shows over there, and you would never hear from them, see
yeah. It
them
was probably
again,
just like way too expensive to get all the
whatever.
way to like
Right? And
Ohio.
I
Yeah,
remember just being like, wow, there's like some good physiques, man.
yeah, for sure.
Like good structure, good muscle bellies, like, but
Yeah.
never see them again.
Like what was that? Was he Middle Eastern? Not Nazir Al Somebody? Is that his
Yeah,
name? Was he
Nasser,
Middle? Was he Middle
Nasser Al-Somali.
Eastern?
Yeah, he was
I
Middle
think he's
Eastern.
Italian.
Italian?
No, he's Middle Eastern because he was. He lived in Germany for a long
El
time,
Sambadi sounds kind
but
of,
he was Middle Eastern. Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah.
was crazy looking.
Oh, dude, that guy,
Yeah,
because I met that guy when he used to live here for a little bit. He would come to Hawaii and train for a couple months.
yeah,
Yeah, because he lived in San Diego, I think, and then he would come over here for a little bit. Oh, he was huge, dude. I mean, he was just,
yeah, insane.
it was, yeah, like literally
Freak.
insane. Yeah, because he was pretty tall too. I mean, I think he was like five, not tall, but for bodybuilding, right? Like five
Yeah,
foot 11, maybe,
yeah,
which is for bodybuilding. Like 6 feet is considered tall
yeah,
in bodybuilding, you know.
yeah. I would say so for
So
sure.
5 foot 11 is like on that cusp. So he was, but he was huge. Like I just remember he was well over three. I don't know, maybe it was 320, something like that, and pretty lean, like definitely not fat, right?
Yeah,
And just big, dude, just
yeah.
muscular,
Guarantee sleep apnea.
and just yeah. I don't think he cared,
Yeah,
but that guy was big, dude.
yeah,
And it's funny because I think at the time when I was training, I had and I was growing, you know, I was trying to get bigger and I had done a show, then I gotten done with my show and I was trying to get big. And I think at one point I was like 250 or so around there. And I remember just being, I was like, oh, I'm skinny. Like I remember by looking at him
at
being like,
250 you're
I'm
skinny.
so
Holy moly.
small. Like, yeah, no, I remember feeling that way, dude. I was like, oh, I am small.
Yeah,
Because this guy was like 320 pounds, you know?
that's insane. That
I
you're a
was like,
heart.
and I was 250, which was
Yeah,
decent. I mean, I was pretty muscular, but I was like,
guarantee
oh,
high blood pressure and cholesterol for that guy.
oh well. Well, he died pretty young too.
Yeah,
I forget what he died of. I think he was in his 40s.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. Because even that gym in Kuwait, Oxygen.
Yeah.
I heard. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I heard like you like when you're a pro over there, they pay for everything, and then they got the steroids for you and all that
Oh no,
stuff.
they
That's why,
give
like,
those guys are
yeah,
set up.
yeah. And then people just was that dude's what's his name? Fuck, that dude who owns Oxygen.
Oh
Better
yeah.
but die.
Bader Budai, yeah, that
Better,
dude.
but
Yeah, I heard like he's like yeah, that oil tycoon dude,
yeah.
and like I mean those guys.
He's billionaire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's when Brandon Curry started doing good was when he went out there. You know, he
That's right.
wasn't doing good before he went out there, but I heard like it's just they're
Yeah.
so focused out there
You
because the
remember that? Yeah, because I
yeah
remember Brandon was like he was like he would place, right? But he was maybe outside or like a top 10 maybe
yeah
barely or
yeah
you know something like that. You wouldn't notice him too much. And
yeah
then yeah, I remember when he went there that first year and it was like, whoa, and he was taking
something
pictures
happened. Yeah
and it was like, oh, look at Brandon. And
yeah
then he like leveled up, right?
yeah
And then he won Olympia that
yeah.
one
He won the
year.
Olympia. Yeah,
And
from
then
out of
that was
Oxygen.
it. I
Yeah.
mean, that was kind of it. Yeah. I don't think he's going to ever win it again, but
That's why I feel like it would be good for some men's physique dudes to get out there, man, and like fucking hit that gym up and like
yeah.
yeah
Well, they're into the hard, they want bodybuilders out there, I feel like,
yeah
right? Just strictly mass monsters, you know?
for
Like
sure. But I
they
mean, there
love
are
that.
those like kind of men's physique dudes. Like if you see men's physique shows in the Middle East, like I mean,
Mm,
yeah, like you said, a lot of them have really good physiques, and it's like pretty popular. I feel.
yeah.
I feel men's physique is the most popular division as far
Overall,
as
just
overall,
overall.
just overall in all of the divisions in the IFBB. Like I personally feel like even at the Arnold, like how that dude Ali was kind of like, like irritated about the things that Arnold said about the men's
Yeah.
physique division
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
like how Arnold thinks it's kind of stupid and like, like he previously said that. Then this time around, he's like, I don't know why they don't show their legs. And
Yeah.
these guys train so hard for this and they go to this show and the guy who's throwing doesn't really care about them, gives them 14 or it was 25 grand, I guess, for the payout for the men's
Then
physique
bodybuilding
division.
got 500,000.
And the
That's
bodybuilding got
crazy.
500,000. Like you
Mhm.
couldn't give these guys like at least
How
75,000.
much did classic get?
I think it was in the hundreds or 50,000 maybe, or I don't know what it was. That's a good
Why can't
question.
it be like
We
100,
need, we need
100
a,
and 300 for bodybuilding?
yeah, we
Like
need a
what?
Jamie. Jamie, can you look up?
His
Yeah.
bodybuilding rules. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing is like men's physique as far as the NPC goes probably carries. That's why they created that fit model thing. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, it's not for money. It's because this looks getting too crazy and we want everybody to be." No, it's money. You know what I mean? The Manions
Mm.
are super rich, and that's just a fact. Those guys are rich and all these divisions make them money. And at every show you go to, what division has the most competitors? Bikini and men's physique.
Physique, yeah.
Any NPC show. There's no NPC show where there's more bodybuilders than
No.
men's physique.
No.
So when you think about people paying for the NPC card, going to
Yeah.
the shows,
Yeah.
all their families are buying tickets, their girlfriends are coming. What generates more money for the NPC is men's physique, and I feel they should be rewarded for it. Like if you look at that company, Dark Sport, right?
Mm.
Popular. I don't wear
It's
that.
mainly men's
I don't
physique.
wear that stuff because
Yeah.
it's. I mean, so many. You go to 24 Hour Fitness, Kapilani, and everybody has the same shirt on. But it's
Oh,
like,
They're too baggy too. I don't like baggy
yeah,
ass
and it's
shirts.
like one of those things where like
yeah, the style's different.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I can appreciate it for what it is, and they have a genius marketing plan, Dark Sport for sure. But it's just not for me. Like how their thing is, it's for us. Yeah, it's not for me. It's for them. You know what I mean? And there's no hate on that. It's just when I was younger, like if you wore the same shirt as your homie, like you're a biter. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like if somebody in your crew got shoes, like it's a wrap. Nobody else could get those shoes. And like even in like music, you know what I mean? It's like in culture and music, like it was unacceptable to copy lyrics from people. But now in rap songs, you'll hear a rapper rap another rapper's whole verse.
Mm.
And it's just like, oh no, I'm showing them respect. And it's like it's
Hmm.
become socially acceptable to become
Yeah.
unoriginal. So that's why,
That's a fact. Even with
yeah.
the TV shows and the movies and how they're
Yeah.
recreating everything, 'cause they can't come up with any
Yeah.
new
No,
shit.
for sure. Yeah. And even you look at the where
Yeah.
younger kids are dressing now, like all these like girls and boys that are like teenagers in high school, they're dressing like how I dressed when I was in seventh grade, like with baggy pants and like,
Well,
yeah,
it
it's like
looks like
trippy.
pajamas, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know
So,
with the
I
Crocs
mean,
and the hoodies and the baggy, like
yeah.
you said, the baggy pants, the baggy
Yeah,
sweats,
but
and
getting back to
yeah,
the whole like men's physique thing, like I feel like even Dark Sports, super popular company. I mean, they have bodybuilders and classic dudes on their thing. I think they use Dorian Yates and all these people, but the
yeah,
majority
Kevin LeBron.
and the heart of like their stuff is like they started off with men's physique athletes like um, George Brown, Andre Ferguson.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
those were the
those were the
original
guys.
Dark
Yeah,
Sport dudes. You
they
know what I
had a
mean?
few bodybuilders in there. They
At
did
first,
have
I don't. At
some.
first, there was no bodybuilders.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
originally
it
just
was just
physique
men's physique. Yeah,
at the very, very
at the
beginning.
very, very beginning.
Mm.
Like O was literally like one of the first guys on that team
Oh,
because
really?
he was coaching me when he got put on
Oh,
by
yeah.
them.
Oh,
Yeah, because he
so
he
like when Dorian and stuff went on, those guys like Stan McQuay, Dorian,
that's
those were a little
later,
bit after.
a little bit
Oh,
after,
I see.
or maybe Stan was in the beginning too. But I know it was George Brown for sure, Andre Ferguson, and O.
Mm, okay.
Those were like the
Oh,
three
those were
dudes.
some of the
Brandon
I
Hendrickson
didn't know
too.
O was one of the first
Yeah,
ones.
O was one of the first ones. He was like, that's why he's like always talking on the microphone, and
Mm,
because he was literally like from that first wave of like the company just
mm.
started. Yeah, and I mean he's been very loyal to them, so I feel like that's why they reward him so
Right,
much.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been with them for so long.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. So
that makes sense.
yeah,
Wow, didn't know that.
yeah, no, one of the first dudes on Dark Sport. Yeah, so all these kids wearing Dark Sport in Hawaii don't realize that one of the first dudes on that whole shit was from Hawaii.
Yeah,
Like yeah, like,
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's funny.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I saw them
Yeah, they
dark
come they
sport.
come here.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
they've been here a couple
They come
times.
here to do
Well, they've
photo
been at the
shoots.
gym. Yeah, a couple
So
times.
all you kids out there, all right, who want to come train at the same gym that Dark Sport does their photo shoots at when they're in
Yeah,
Hawaii, it's Iron Hawaiian
they've done
Fitness.
it a couple times here.
Yeah.
I remember first seeing them at the Olympia back in I think it was like 2016 or 17 when
Yeah.
I went at the expo,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, dark sport, and I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
like, oh, what is that? Like, oh, it's
Yeah.
clothing, and I was like, okay, well, cool,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, that was the first time. And then they did two photo shoots here.
Yeah.
They did, yeah, they did it before COVID, maybe 2019 or something, 2018 maybe,
Yeah.
and then a few years ago.
Yeah. Because I remember that year that Francielle, what is it, Matos,
Yeah.
the
Maybe that was
she
2 years
she
ago,
won the
3 years ago.
Olympia the year that they came here and trained.
Right. So
Yeah.
what was that, 3
Two
years
years,
ago?
2 years ago?
2 or 3?
Two
Yeah.
years, I
Was
think.
it 2?
Maybe three.
Yeah, okay.
Two
Something like that.
within that ballpark. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy when you look at those pictures because I would see them on the dark sport
Mhm.
thing, and I'm like, man, like there was like at this gym,
Yep.
literally at one time, there was like
Oh.
10 Olympians,
Oh, yeah, they were all here.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
20 pros, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, and dark sport flew all those guys out. That must have
Yeah.
been like money, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
For
I
sure.
mean, they
And
brought
they
'em in.
probably paid for a couple hotel rooms for them all to stay at too. So it's like, man, that company, their marketing is genius, because they've kind of created a cult following. And if you can create a cult following with anything, you know what I mean? Like as
Mm.
long as you have your cult, you're golden. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And those dudes, like, they make money, bro. Like I've seen those dudes because I follow them on Instagram. Those dudes are driving G wagons and
Who, the
Mercedes, and
guys running the
the
business?
guys
Oh,
running, the
yeah.
guys in
Yeah,
charge of our
I
sport.
figured. I mean,
Yeah, they're balling.
they're
Yeah,
selling a lot of product, man.
yeah, for
Because
sure.
they do sell out. I know when their shirt drops, our next
Yeah,
drop, that's the thing. Then they sell out. Like
yeah,
I
no,
know
for sure.
that.
And it's
Like
smart too because you only make so many of them. And then like you
Right.
don't
So
have
you
all
make
this
it
excess
limited.
stock. You know what I mean? And it seems more
Yes.
desirable too. Yeah, like you said, because it's like limited.
It's
So it's like it's more
limited.
desirable. And then
Yeah.
like you're not stuck with like 300 extra t-shirts you could
Yeah.
sell. You know what I
Because who
mean?
wants that? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Because that's annoying. Having
yeah.
inventory sucks.
Yeah. But even like other, I guess there's other brands out there. What is it? Like Gymshark,
Hmm.
Alphalete. I don't know. There's all these like
Yeah. There's
gym
Alpha Meat.
culture companies. But I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
the original one that I remember from Instagram was Gymshark. That's what Chris Bumstead's on.
They were one of the big brands that came out in the
Yeah.
early or like mid 2000s, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think pre Dark Sport. They were like around
Yeah.
before Dark
They were
Sport.
the one.
There's actually
Gymshark.
a YouTube documentary, I believe, on that owner. He was a young dude and he was one of the first dudes to use social media for like gym stuff and
Mm.
just give it to all the influencers and have them wearing it and all the like, the athlete
Yeah.
influencers, you know. So he
And
was
that's how it blew up.
he was that first dude to do it and that's how he blew his company up and he's a billionaire, I heard. Like a
Right.
legit
He became a
a
billionaire from it?
billionaire off of Dark Sport.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Off of
And he's like in his
Gymshark.
off Gymshark.
Gymshark.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gymshark, not Dark
Yeah.
Sport. But I heard like he's in his 30s or he's young. Yeah, he's younger
Damn.
than me.
So he
Yeah.
started it like that, huh?
Yeah. Just sewing tags onto
Hey,
shirts and
I
shorts and yeah, it's
had
crazy.
had an idea, Gymshark.
Yeah,
That was
right.
it. That's crazy
I know.
what you can do. I mean, billionaire. Well, damn.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Off
Is that
gym
Gymshark
culture
even
stuff.
is that even popular still or no?
I mean, Chris Bumstead is on their team, so I
He's
mean,
still on there.
yeah, as
Yeah.
long as he's wearing it, I mean, people are.
Hmm.
And I think Ryan Terry is Gymshark too. I believe
Oh
Ryan
yeah.
Terry. Yep, sponsored by Gymshark. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
that's
two pretty good
crazy.
dudes to have representing your
Yeah.
company. I mean, because Ryan Terry's #1 in the world for men's physique, Chris Bumstead's #1 in the world for classic.
Classic. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the
Lock that
dream
up.
team.
You lock those two up. Got it on lock.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, the fitness industry, there's a lot of money in it, for sure.
definitely.
Um, there's I don't know, it's interesting because there's a lot of opportunity to make money, and I don't know. I mean, some people just get lucky with it. I think
Yeah,
sometimes you see things come out and it doesn't do anything, and then sometimes something comes out and I don't know why,
yeah,
but it does well, right?
yes,
Like
for
I don't
sure.
don't even I don't know, it was like it was okay, but this other one was good too, but
Yeah,
this one blew up, right?
yes, for sure.
And I don't know how much of it is marketing or
Yeah,
just
I think it's all marketing.
like you think it's the
I
marketing.
think it's the marketing
You
because
gotta
even
you gotta
like
have the money for the marketing.
you have to have that budget, I feel, or like know how to fucking maneuver and like give people free
Yeah.
shit to, promote it
Like
for
do
you.
all that, get the
Yeah,
ambassador programs, get people to
definitely.
do videos, do reels with your
Yeah,
clothes
because
on or
one
whatever.
company that strikes me like that comes across my mind when I think about that whole thing is like what is it called? Ghost Nutrition.
Oh yeah, I know
I mean,
Ghost.
yeah,
That
so Ghost. I mean, that
those
company,
drinks.
the owners of that company, I heard they just sold their company to forget, it was some big beverage company,
Okay.
but they made $1 billion off their sale. Yeah,
Really?
so their company was sold for $1 billion. And I remember
Oh.
following Ghost from the beginning and they have like a posting schedule. Like this day is the sneaker day, and then this day it's like a fun Sunday with their pre-workout on the side. And the
Mm.
pictures and like the way they post things, it's very
Yeah.
strategic and like they marketed themselves very well. They had a YouTube page and like
Mm.
yeah, the colorful packaging and it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
Sour Patch Kids and
Well,
yeah.
yeah, when you look at the
Yeah.
labels and stuff,
You
like
have
that and those colors and
yeah,
the label, the ghost, like
the way it's written, even the font of
it
Ghost looks like
really, I
cool,
guess it's kind of got this appeal to it. You're right.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
you don't know why. He's like, oh, it's ghost, but
yeah,
what does it have to do with drinks, right? With energy
exactly.
drinks, ghost, but
Yeah,
it was appealing.
yeah.
I think
And I mean,
so.
Kenny would always use those Ghost products, like their branch chain
Hmm.
amino acids and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. Not only do they kind of corner that market of like the people in the gym, they like have the energy drinks at 7-Eleven.
Mm.
And the dudes who just like
Yes.
energy drinks who don't even train, like don't even know that's a
Right.
workout
They don't
company.
even
And
know.
yeah, they're just
They
drinking the
just
energy
like the
drinks.
can. Looks cool, tastes
Yeah,
good.
oh, it gives me energy. Fuck it.
Right,
Yeah,
right. That's crazy. Yeah. So wow, Ghost.
yeah. Sold their
That's what a
company for
lot
a
of these
billion
small
dollars.
companies are doing, right? A lot of small companies, clothing or drink, whatever food company, they get big and then they
Yeah,
sell it to a big company, right?
yeah, for sure.
Coca-Cola or somebody will buy it.
Definitely.
Because that's how like I know like Coca-Cola owns like Monster. They own Rain, I think.
Yeah.
But all those companies weren't Coca-Cola. That
Yeah,
was
no, for
somebody
sure.
else.
Yeah.
And then they bought them out.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why you're like, all Coca-Cola products, and you'll see like all these different ones, but it's like The
Yes.
only original ones were the Coca-Cola
Yeah.
drinks,
They're
and
like,
then Sprite. Like I think Coca-Cola Sprite wasn't a Coca-Cola product.
no, not
It
at
was
all at
Sprite,
first. Yeah.
and then
Coca-Cola bought
Coca-Cola
them.
bought
I
Sprite.
think Coca-Cola owns
Right.
Dasani water too.
Yes, Dasani. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a long list of products.
They're like
And then Pepsi's the other side.
yeah, exactly.
They own like 7 Up
I think
maybe or
Mountain
something, or
Dew.
Mountain Dew and
Yeah.
right. So these companies, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. They're like
It's
the
crazy.
BlackRock of beverages. It's like, yeah.
Well, no, I think that's what they do, right? They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this company is big. Let's go buy them."
Yeah,
And
for
now
sure.
we own it. Now
Yeah.
you can't,
'Cause, man, I own Coca-Cola stock and like, I mean, I get a
yeah.
little dividend payment quarterly from them too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Coca-Cola, yeah, yeah. I actually had Coca-Cola stock before.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's interesting. I mean, there you go. I mean, we're talking about fitness, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's another opportunity of
Yeah.
making money
'Cause you
in
can do
this.
clothing, you can do supplements, you can do
Yep.
training, you can open a gym, you can
Create a
all
drink
these types of
brand,
things.
like I
Yeah,
don't
for
know, like
sure.
I mean, there's so much that goes into all that though, just
Yeah.
to start anything,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I
especially.
started a small supplement company. Like
Yeah, you did.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we sold it at Designer Body. It was meditative energy supplements. I
yeah,
had lifted pre-workout. You know who would always buy my pre-workout was Tyler. Hayashi.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh, he
always
liked
yeah, he
it.
liked it. He would always buy it. He liked the flavors because the
Oh,
flavors were really good. Because the guy who owns Muscle Sport,
mhm.
Muscle Sport, that supplement company, I think
Yeah,
Jody used to sell it here, a long
yeah,
time
yeah.
ago. Like he made my supplements for me at first.
Oh, how'd you get hooked up with him?
That's my Ty's friend actually.
Oh, okay.
So
So you connected with him,
yeah,
and then you
connected with
created
him
your
through my
thing.
Ty, connected my created my supplements, the products. I had a creatine pill, multivitamin, and a
Right.
pre-workout.
Yeah, I was doing your multi and your creatine
Yeah, I gave
pills.
you those. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, it's just there's a lot of work that goes into having a company, and which I realize I'm good at the sales aspect of it, and like
Mm,
talking and making a video and editing something or
okay.
thinking of stuff like that. But the back end of like doing taxes and write-offs and like
Yeah, oh, yeah.
planning all this other stuff that we got to do
They
to
always
like kind of
get you,
grow the company
man.
to,
They
to
wanna.
grow the company and like
Well, they.
yeah,
I swear they make it difficult for anybody to have a business. To
yeah,
like. I mean, you can just start it, but the reality is, if you make mistakes and you don't know what's going on, you can get screwed
yeah,
later
for sure,
down the road. You know what I mean?
definitely, yeah,
And they can get you for stuff that you did early that you didn't understand.
yeah, exactly,
So that's one of those things where if they were to like, if you could learn this, right, growing up, I mean, granted, we have access to all of it now, but
yeah,
yeah, it's, I always wondered, why do they make it so difficult for us?
yeah,
Right. Like the tax stuff and all.
yeah, no, for sure,
Right. I mean,
yeah.
is it because they just don't want to see people succeed?
And I feel
You
like
know what I mean? Like,
they've
what is the deal?
they've burnt it into our brains that it's like normal to pay all of these taxes, and it's normal
Oh,
for us to give our money to them to
oh
spend
yeah.
it however they choose
Oh
to.
yeah. Oh
And that's
yeah.
why like I really do appreciate what's going on now with the government, and like trying to clean up government like spending and stuff like that. I get it. There's human beings losing jobs and stuff, and that's never a good thing. But
Yeah.
there's certain things that that's coming out that our money was going to that I was like, man, are you really taking my hard-earned money and spending it on this? And like, and it's just
Yeah.
a tiny bit here and there, you know what I mean?
Right.
Collectively, everybody in the United States, it adds up to billions and billions of dollars, but it's like we've become so accustomed to just paying taxes that we don't really realize that a lot of that's unnecessary. And if you have the right president in charge, things might go a little smoother with that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think that things are going, to me, obviously it gets kind of messy when you want to fix
Yeah,
something, right?
for sure.
There's going to be a lot of things going on, but I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that it's going to get
Yeah, for
better,
sure.
especially the taxes. Like, I can't, I think it's crazy that, like people complain about that. Like
Yeah.
they're finding all this stuff. And I believe it,
Yeah, for
like it's
sure.
real, like hello, like it's not fake.
Yeah.
And then people are upset about it, like for whatever reason,
Yeah.
or the person who's finding it, I have a problem with
Yeah.
that guy, or it's like, who cares, dude? Like
Yeah.
I have a problem with people committing fraud, with people taking my money and
Yeah, for sure.
making their whole entire family rich
Yes.
while we're over here slaving,
Yeah. Totally.
working for them basically,
Yeah.
so
No.
we can be mediocre at best.
Yeah, and there's like all these politicians, that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but then
Yeah.
their salary is like 180 grand a year. You're like, how are you worth $300 million when you get paid $180,000 a year?
Well,
How does
yeah,
that
come on,
work? Like, you know
come
what
on.
I mean?
I know, come on,
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's
come on.
weird.
Well, we'll go on this topic a little bit more, but what do you? This has been blowing my mind, and I know it doesn't happen here in Hawaii because
Yeah.
Hawaii it's pretty mellow, right? But with the Teslas, man, with the
Oh
cars, like
yes.
they're vandalizing. I'm like, that's crazy. Like
Yeah. It's a bit
you're
extreme. Yeah.
where you're like taking your frustrations out on somebody's car because you don't like the guy who owns the car company, even though that guy doesn't own that car. Like
Yeah.
that somebody else bought that car with
Yeah. For
with
He's
their
sure.
already made the
money.
money from the
Yeah.
Yeah, he
car.
made the money. What is he? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, oh, that's not my car anymore. I made the money. That now
Yeah.
you're affecting that person.
Yeah.
That person whose hard-earned money is paying for that car every month.
Exactly.
You're like ruining his car. He's got to go through his insurance now and fix it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like these. It's so interesting to me this whole thing about like we're
Yeah.
gonna destroy these cars to send the message.
Yeah. And it's
And
funny
I'm
because
like,
like Elon Musk, like before he openly started supporting Donald Trump, like
yeah.
he was the left's like golden boy. Like he was the electric car guy.
Oh,
We're
I
all trying
know.
to go
I
green.
know.
He's the big electric car guy.
Now
He's
they
the
can't
solar
stand him.
panels. And like now those same people who were like, yeah, I want a Tesla. They're like, man,
Mm.
fuck this guy because it's just like who he supports and what he's about. You know what I
But
mean?
that's so crazy to
And I
me.
get like, you don't
Yeah.
want to put your money into something that you're not supportive of. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Right.
like, yeah, this whole political situation in our country has gotten so like it's like politics are way more like popular to talk about now than it
Oh,
was when I was a kid. Like
oh
I
no.
didn't see any like
Totally. Nobody,
yeah.
dude, when I was growing up, nobody talked about
Yeah,
it.
like and even like younger kids that are just like in college
I
and like
think
in high school are kind of into politics sometimes
it's
now.
mainstream now. Like
Yeah,
it's
but
like
yeah,
you can
it's
actually,
become a thing.
yeah, as a high school kid, you could actually sit there and have a conversation about it.
Yeah, it's trippy
You know what I mean? And
and have
get into it.
opinions and
Like
yeah.
before, no way,
Yeah, nobody
dude.
cared. Yeah.
No.
Nobody even gave
Like
a shit.
only the people that were talking about it was those kids that were like political science ones.
Yeah,
You had those how to
exactly.
feel those kids in school, and
Yeah,
you're like,
these are the
dude,
weird kids. Yeah,
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 totally weird. Like you're just
yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
Like, what are you talking
We're going to
about?
the park and playing football.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was such a small percentage of them. Now, I mean, dude, it's
yeah,
like a normal. A lot of people talk about it,
yeah, for sure.
and I think for me, the biggest thing is, I mean, I'm not into politics, but I just how does it affect me? Like that's my
Yeah,
thing is how is this
exactly.
affecting people and affecting
Yeah,
me?
for
That's
sure.
what I want to know.
Yeah, and I'm not really like a party person either. Like I have more conservative views, I would say, but like I'm not like a hardcore Republican. I'm not a
Yeah,
hardcore Democrat. I'm more of a people person. Like if there is a Democrat, like say like Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, all those people who were Democrats and
yeah,
recently switched over,
yeah,
like if they ran for president as a Democrat, like with
yeah.
what they're about, like some of the things I can get behind, you know what I mean? And I
Oh
might
yeah,
vote for them depending on who the Republican representative is, you know what I mean? And
right.
if he's kind of trash, like
Yeah.
so it's not one of those things. It's like, yeah, who has our best interests in mind? And it's kind of almost like that. What is that condition called? Where like you kind of run towards people who are oppressing you, like
Mm. Oh,
um,
I don't know. I can't think right now, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like
Wait, you talking about the Stockholm
Stockholm
syndrome?
syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome? Yeah, Stockholm
Yes.
syndrome. Yeah.
Stockholm syndrome. So it's one of those things like that. It's like these people are so party proud that they have to be like liberal or on the left or progressive
Mm.
thinking that if literally some like serial killer ran for president as a Democrat, they would vote for him just because he's a
Probably,
Democrat. You know what I mean?
maybe.
It doesn't matter if he killed 20 people. You know what I mean? They'd be like, well, but he's a Democrat and we're in this gang and that's what we're representing. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
to me, that's just not good
Well,
when you're that into
what
politics.
I'm seeing with that whole side to the whole Democrat left side, whatever they want to call it, but it's like if you don't agree with them and
Yeah.
their beliefs, like
Yeah.
they hate you.
Yeah. It's like,
Like
fuck you.
they
Yeah.
really are
Yeah.
mad at
No, for
you.
sure.
It's like why? Like why are you mad at people that don't agree with you?
Yeah.
Like okay, they don't agree with you, so what? Like it's just how it goes. Like
Yeah. And then it's
they don't
funny.
have to.
In 2016, I voted for Donald Trump,
Yeah.
like honestly. And half my friends, like, if you voted for Donald Trump in 2016, that was like real shit. If you
Yeah.
voted for Trump in 2020 and you did it in 2016, you're late to the bandwagon, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
2016 was the real test. Okay, who's gonna be like, I voted for this guy? Because your
Yeah.
half your friends are gonna hate you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
And
was a
like,
thing.
That's a good point.
yeah, when I voted in 2016 for Donald Trump, I remember everybody kind of like, it was kind of a joke and they were laughing at him and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I'm going to vote for this guy, dude. I think he's going to win. Like, I
Yeah.
have faith that with what he's saying, people are going to get behind this. You know what I mean? Voted for him. He won. I remember posting, yeah, Trump on my Instagram. I had a picture of Trump from like the 80s, like on a Ferrari with a white tiger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and I was
yeah,
like, yeah, Trump,
yeah,
Trump
yeah.
2016. And then like, dude, I had the most comments of hate like under that picture and people going like, oh my God, you support white race, like racism and all this. And I was just tripped out by like the friends that I lost over just like voting for Donald Trump in 2016. 2020, it was a little more socially acceptable to vote for that guy, even though some people might still hate you. But 2016, those were the real Trump supporters right there. You know what I'm saying? For real. Because everybody, it was like the silent majority. That was the thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Nobody
Yeah.
wanted to say they voted for him because they didn't want the backlash, but it was the silent majority. You know what I mean? And in 2020, it was kind of a little bit obnoxious with those like caravans and people with monster trucks would slam in their sounds and Trump
Hmm.
flags, and they'd have
Hmm.
Trump meetups. And I'm
Did you
like,
ever do the caravans here?
that's a little too extreme for
I
me.
did. I
You
did
did?
one. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no way.
We started at Chinaman's Hat and we'd end up in
Oh, I
Waianae.
remember when you did
Started in
that.
Chinaman's
Yeah.
hat and ended up in Waianae. Jed, the white guy
That's
from.
funny.
No, dude, it was everybody. Like I
That's
remember the
funny.
cops came and told us, like, guys, you're exceeding capacity of the parking lot. Like, you have to start leaving now, or we're
Oh
gonna have to
wow.
kick you out. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that
that's
was
crazy.
what, 16?
No, it was during COVID.
Oh, the COVID one. Okay.
I mean, people were taking like trucks with tankers on the back and getting wraps put on it that said Trump. It was crazy.
Yeah,
And like crazy, like thing was, we thought it'd just be, a certain type of person, but it was like a mixed group and hippies and all kinds of stuff, like people you didn't think.
yeah,
It
no,
was
for
really
sure.
weird.
Yeah, definitely.
Me and my friend were like, wow, we didn't expect this diverse of a crowd show up for this.
Yeah, no, fully. Because I mean, I feel like race has become so much of this like racism. It's like, I mean,
Oh,
it's a thing for sure. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where it's like,
it's
if you agree with this person, like now you're racist. You know what I mean?
Which is
It doesn't
stupid.
matter like if you even hate anybody. Like usually that's what racism is, right? Like you think your race is superior and you hate these people, you know? But
yeah.
you could just not even have that whole thing going on and just support this person. But in their mind, they've got to convince that like this guy is racist, so he's
Oh, yeah.
supporting racism, you're racist too. And it's like it's one of these things where like they don't realize like a lot of Latinos voted for Trump,
Yeah.
a lot of Asians voted for
Oh yeah.
Trump,
He actually got, during the
Yeah.
election that he lost, he got a huge percentage of, I think the largest percentage of the non-white vote is any Republican and since like the 80s or something.
That's
Oh,
pretty
I
crazy.
totally believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Because I think people were just like, they gave Joe Biden a shot. They're like, they voted for him because they're just hardcore Democrats. They're liberals. The Republicans are racist, rich people. You know what I mean? When in reality, the Republican Party was started by black people. People who do not realize that. Like, if you go back through history, I mean, when you just think about it in the North, Republicans,
Oh,
right?
Civil War, even in North Carolina, all the black people were
Yeah,
Republicans.
all the slaves wanted to go north to where the Republicans were because they were free there. You know what I mean? In the South, there was still slavery going on, and that's the Civil War times and all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, the Republican Party, if you just go Wikipedia,
Mm.
it's a simple Google
Well,
search, was started
Didn't
by
they
black
pass all the
people.
civil rights acts when it was the Republican Party?
Yes, totally. And it was the Democrat Party that was fighting against like integrating schools in the
Yeah.
'60s. Like
yeah,
Joe
I
Biden was actually one of them. You know
the
what I
the
mean?
party thing though, I still kind of question some of it because I'm like, yeah, they both kind of do stuff,
Yeah,
where
for
like
sure.
and at the end of the day, they're all politicians, right? So,
Yeah,
like the money, where's money going? Who's taking what? Like
yeah,
who's getting payouts? I mean, let's be honest, it's not
for
like
sure.
only one side's
No,
getting
not
it,
at all.
right?
Yeah,
So that's kind of my thing. Is just like just the system in general. I'm just kind of like,
every side I feel has
there's
their
issues.
billionaire supporters. The
Yeah,
Republicans got their billionaire supporters, obviously, and
yeah.
the left definitely has their billionaire supporters.
Oh yeah.
And your billionaire supporters are the people who are going to dictate how you run the country.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
if you guys
You know,
remember, even to this day, from we started to now, Trump still goes after both sides. He doesn't care.
yeah,
If you're a douche, he's going to call you out. He doesn't care if you're Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, because I don't
yeah,
think Yeah.
and he's also like not a politician.
Right. I
Yeah.
don't think Trump really ever favored like, or I don't think he ever really picked the side until like now, right? Later.
Well, he was
Yeah.
he was a Democrat previously. I
But
mean, yeah.
but I don't think he ever really pushed that agenda. I feel like he was more just
Well, I feel the
yeah.
Democratic agenda has switched too. You know what I mean? It's in
Since
the
Kennedy has changed.
yeah, it's
Oh,
different
big
now.
time.
So it's like they've
Yeah.
like they were like, "Oh my God, we're losing elections to these Republicans. Shoot, we gotta go super liberal." And then like some of the people that were on the left are kind of like, "Whoa, this is kind of weird, man." Like
It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it went a little too liberal
Yeah.
and too far. Like now I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't want my kids being around this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
yeah, so but yeah, Republican, Democrats, bad people on both sides, good people on
It
both
can
sides
be,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, politics. Well, oh well. Anyway, we'll go back to bodybuilding.
Body,
We'll
yeah,
finish up with bodybuilding, but
politics and bodybuilding.
yeah, I know. There are a lot of politics in bodybuilding.
No, yeah, for
That's
sure.
that's another one, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, how many shows, right, you've seen. But yeah, so anyway, going back to the local bodybuilding scene and stuff, and I don't know, I did want to talk just briefly, but about I don't know. I don't know if there I feel like as far as competitors go now, there's not as many. Like it seems like it's dwindling here in Hawaii. Like I feel like the numbers are
Yeah.
kind of dropping off a little bit,
I feel for
you
men's
know?
physique, it's still there, and bikini, it's still there. But like I said,
Well, bodybuilding for sure, it's way low.
yeah,
Like I
for
think
sure.
what they didn't they was it Aloha Muscle? They didn't even was it one bodybuilder or something? Like
Yeah, I think so.
there's
Aloha
one
Muscle.
person that showed up for bodybuilding. Like yeah,
Yeah,
like
first
I
place,
mean first place overall. I mean yeah,
nationally
so
qualified.
right, right. Like I
Yeah,
think
right.
maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's only one. And yeah, I mean it's man, that's the scene is well here in Hawaii. I mean it's definitely dropped off a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like
I feel
just
like the
overall.
popularity, like I said previously, like bikini and men's physique, that's what carries the
That's
NPC.
what it is. Yeah.
People just aren't as interested in bodybuilding as much as they were before. And the reason why they were so interested in bodybuilding before is because that was the only thing. There wasn't classic physique, there wasn't men's physique. Maybe like half of those people that were into bodybuilding might have been like, "Oh, this men's physique shit's kind of cool." I kind of like that a little better.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear a little bikini posing trunks on stage.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I feel like the popularity of bodybuilding, especially locally, like, you know what I mean? More local kids are into men's physique, I feel, that are into bodybuilding.
Mm,
It's men's physique and bikini. Those are always going to be the two most popular. Now, I think some girls are getting more into wellness too, but like they
yeah.
think just because they have a thicker lower half,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? They can just do wellness and they're going to
Right.
do good. But it's like, you have to have muscles still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
They
can't
don't
just be jiggly
realize.
and like,
Right. Just
you
because
know?
it's thick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
just
you
because
have
you
to have muscularity
yeah, you
down
can't
there.
look like rap video. You have to look like
Yeah.
stage
Yeah.
ready. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah,
true.
for
So you
sure.
talk about the two
That's true.
categories that bring more contestants to the show.
Yeah.
Once you get up to the top level, which categories bring asses to the seats?
I say men's physique, honestly, a lot. Yeah. I mean, bodybuilding, people like to stick around and watch that too. But as
Oh
far as
yeah.
like hardcore fans, like, you know what I mean? The dark sport, I guarantee you that dark sport booth at
How many
all
of
of
Mhm.
those
those
people go to
things.
bodybuilding competitions though?
I don't know. That's a good
I mean, I don't
question.
go to a circus to
Yeah.
see a squirrel. I can see a squirrel in my backyard.
Yeah.
Or go to a zoo.
Yeah.
I go to a zoo to see like fucking lions and shit.
Yeah.
You know,
But what if they have a really good slushy and there's a long slushy line,
that's too long.
And that's too long.
Too long for
No,
slushies.
but
Well, how many people go to the show because they're going to support somebody, right? More
yeah, for
more so
sure.
than like the person that's
At
going,
the local
I want
level,
to go
yeah.
to watch
Yeah.
crazy freaks. Like,
At the
Yeah.
local level,
yeah.
yeah. But I'm talking about like when you get to the
The
top.
pro level, then yeah, most people are going because there's a certain draw, right? It's probably because of
Yeah,
whatever
I'm
division.
curious, like who would have more followers? Like, I mean, obviously Chris Bumstead and like dudes like that. That's like, they're just iconic.
They're
You know what I
pretty
mean? Yeah, they're pretty
mainstream.
mainstream. They're pretty
Yeah.
like, dude,
But
everybody
he's
knows who those
not
people are.
full bodybuilding.
Yeah,
He's
but as
classic.
far as like, competitors right now who could be compares, like just popularity, you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
that dude Ollie and Aaron Banks, probably two of the best men's physique athletes right now. And then who would be the best two bodybuilders right now? Samson Dauda,
Derek
Derek.
Lunsford.
Derek
Hottie
Lunsford.
Chopin would be
Like
another
if
one.
we
Hadi doesn't have a big social media
okay, like
thing.
I'm
I don't
I'm
think he
just
posts
No,
a
but he's
lot.
popular.
Yeah, he's well known.
okay,
Yeah.
so let's go to Aaron Banks. Let's do that real quick. Aaron Banks.
But these
Aaron
aren't.
Banks.
Are these guys following the ones that are going to competitions though? I'm talking about who buys tickets. everybody follow him because that physique's attainable, and they think it's attainable, so they're gonna follow and go after. Well, Chris Bumstead ain't fucking attainable,
No ways.
but
Yeah. So 486 for Ebanks. Let's go to Samson Devo.
486,000.
1,000. Yeah.
Oh, that's not much for that guy, that level.
yeah, it's not a lot.
I mean, you got OnlyFans girls.
Isn't
that
Bumstead in
have
the millions?
Millions. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Bumstead's like,
Samson Devo at 1.4 million.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Bumstead's
quite
like,
proven.
was he 5 million or something?
He's got a lot.
Yeah, Bumstead is Bumstead though, man.
He's up there.
But yeah, so maybe, I could see that, you know what I mean? But as far as like competitors and do you think they make more money off NPC competitors all year or just seats being sold at the Olympia?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know
That's
what I mean?
a really good question.
Because I mean, in all honesty, I think it's the competitors all year.
Yeah.
If there's 4 shows in Hawaii, there's probably like 50 shows in California. There's probably 50
Oh, there's a
shows
lot.
in
It's
New
like every
York.
weekend.
There's a
probably-
lot because they have the muscle
Yeah.
contest shows.
And then like when you go to those national shows, like I mean, Kenny talks about it. Like, dude, like the men's, it's like a fucking. They're just go out, get off, go out, get off, go out. There's
it's
so many
fast.
competitors, and it's
It's
like you see
fast.
those lineups, and you're like, if you're a judge, how can you even focus on this? You know what I mean? But there's so many men's physique competitors in those national shows
Mhm.
that it's insane. Like Kenny will be like number 437. You know what I mean? And you're like, holy moly.
Yeah,
so-
there's a lot.
So as far as like being money, I mean, bodybuilding will always be the foundation. You know what I mean? That's it's all built off of.
Yeah.
And
'cause
it should
we're-
be it should be
Yeah.
respected that way.
yeah, because we're all bodybuilders, but I feel like there should be a little more compensation for the winners of the men's physique division at the Olympia. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be right the same as bodybuilding. But if this guy's getting 500 grand and this guy gets 25, and then he said after he got the 25,
Yeah.
Arnold took out a Venmo fee from him. He did all these
wow.
fees. So he ended up in the end after taxes only getting $14,000 of that 25,000. So he prepped for 16 weeks, did all these steroids. He's the number one athlete in the world for his division right now. And this guy got $14,000 for winning probably the second biggest show of the year.
It is the second biggest show of the year.
Yeah. So it's like,
That's
Well, I mean, it's
questionable.
sad. I mean, he's obviously got to work on just marketing himself and going the other
Yeah.
route and making money through
Yeah,
social
some
media and things like
sponsors or
that.
something.
Why
Yeah.
can't you give bodybuilding 400,000 and give physique 100,000? Why
Yeah,
can't you do that? Or
bodybuilding
even
rules,
300,000?
yeah.
Bodybuilding.
But I mean, you're talking about a
rules.
3-to-1 ratio.
No,
of
I know. I'm
Kmart.
fucking with you, too.
Yeah.
Dude,
Jesus.
hey, bodybuilders used to make no money back in the day, dude. Let me tell
No,
you.
they used to make the
It-
same that they make
so-
now, and it was worth more back then.
No, they didn't make that much
They
money.
would make
back
like
in the day.
10,000 for winning a show back then.
Oh, they didn't make much until it only started changing when Arnold started getting in the game, and then they started upping the stuff. And even because the early Arnolds, I mean, it was okay. But honestly, I think when it really started happening was like because Arnold used to give away the Hummer. There was like
Yeah.
a Hummer plus cash.
Yeah.
You would win the car, and then you would get cash for like the first place.
It'd be cool if you got
It
like
was
a Predator
like-
helmet too, you know.
It was like 100,000 or something, or 200,000.
The Olympia was 100,000
That's the
back
car.
then.
So it was about the same. Arnold was like the same, but Arnold, you got the car on top
Yeah.
of it.
yeah.
Or Arnold would give a little more, just edge the Olympia by a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
and this was like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I feel
During
like
Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman.
yeah,
went
that
out.
time
Yeah.
because Jay had won it before, and so yeah, and so I mean now let's just be honest. I mean, they don't get that much money anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
a top pro in the sport is getting like say $500,000 if he wins the best show in the world.
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to like other sports, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where it's I mean, these
Well,
guys
hopefully.
Yeah, when you
getting
compare it to other
millions.
sports, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
are
No, for
they're getting
sure.
millions.
Yeah.
So,
Like
but
you could be
bodybuilding,
second string and make a few
bodybuilding's
million.
always been kind of a different sport. Some people don't even call it a sport,
Yeah.
That's whatever.
but there's a lot of money in
Yeah.
the fitness industry, right? In the industry itself, supplements and clothing and all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in it.
For
Now,
sure.
percentage wise, like you said, it does make sense that the physique guys and the bikini girls should be getting a lot of money because they're probably
Yeah.
the ones that
Especially
are drawing.
bikini, man. There's so many
Yeah.
bikini.
They're drawing the
competitors. Yeah,
crowds.
for sure.
And now the wellness, I think, is bringing the crowds into those.
Yeah,
Those
well,
girls
definitely.
are drawing them out
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
So for sure, but the bodybuilders, it's a very small.
Yeah.
And just like he said, like people go there to see those shows because mostly to see the bodybuilders because they're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
could-
I want to
could-
see.
I could see at the
freaking-
Olympia.
I want to see
you
the
know.
lion. I want to
Yeah.
see the rhinoceros.
Yeah.
They want to see
And there's probably
all the freaks.
the hardcore fans even too from the 80s that are like, I went to every Olympia since 1987. You
Oh
know,
no,
you're
for
like,
sure. Oh no, there's
you
people
know,
like that. Yeah,
for sure.
they go every year. Like they don't miss it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, No, it's cool. So the show's coming up. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be a good turnout
Yeah, I guarantee you,
for the
like I said, the
Stingray.
men's physique division gonna have the most
No,
competitors,
it
man.
will.
Yeah,
And then I totally agree with you.
yeah,
Every show, it always
for
does.
sure.
It always does. Even when there are shows where I'm like, wow, there's not that many men's physique. There's even less bodybuilders.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah. So
And honestly, like we don't really have too many. I mean, there are men's physique pros from Hawaii, but when you think of people really
no.
from Hawaii, because there's these dudes who come over in the military and they're living here while they get their pro card and or
Yeah,
whatever it
That's
may
true.
be. But like people who are born
like
here,
truly born and
truly
raised
from Hawaii, went to high school here. You know what I
and
mean?
are
Yeah,
competitive. Nah,
yeah,
you don't. No,
for sure. Like there's what?
you got guys who turn pro but not
Because even
competitive.
like Lucas, like
Yeah, yeah. He's
from
not from here.
Brazil.
He's
I
not
mean,
from here.
he lives here, but I mean, and he's local, but he's not from here. Where it's like,
Yeah,
okay, this dude who's from Hawaii,
right.
he's from Brazil,
It's not the
yeah,
same. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. So I feel like that dude Elo,
yeah,
hopefully Kenny soon. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I feel
yeah,
like the men's physique division, like we have a good chance here to turn some pros out. You know what I mean? If they
yeah.
really dedicate themselves, because like you said, it is attainable. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe more attractive to younger people. And like with the Asian genetics here, I feel a lot of people got small waists, and like you know what I mean? Like they have good genetics for that division. You know what I mean? Because like I see some of those dudes backstage and they're tiny. But they
Mhm.
get out on stage and they look amazing and they're aesthetic and their waist to shoulder ratio is so crazy. So I feel like we have a lot of potential here in Hawaii for that.
No, I think we do. I think we
Yeah.
have potential. It just depends on how serious the guys want to be, to invest the money and time to go and get out of the Hawaii
Yeah.
show and go to the mainland and then
Yeah.
step onto that
Or
stage and
even
then
I forgot
stay
Chad. Chad's a
and
pro too.
compete.
Mike
And well,
and
Chad
Mike
too, of course,
Dabino.
Chad.
Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
Dabino. Yeah.
yeah. We got a
Yeah.
few.
Yeah.
If we didn't name you, sorry, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
it happens. But
No hard feelings.
yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, all right, man. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
coming on the show, bro. Yeah, man.
Indeed.
And yeah, we'll have you on again, dude.
Yeah, no, for
You
sure.
can be the little fill-in, man. I don't
Yeah, for
care. That
sure.
was
When
good.
Mel's
Yeah.
not here, I'll
Yeah, when Mel's not
yeah, we
here.
didn't get to talk about the UFOs, but
Yeah.
no, next time.
Oh no, we'll be talking about him next time. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week on Paradise Palm. Aloha.